Hey, good evening, everyone. Coming to you with a sloth yoga practice. It's late here. It's 9:30, and I thought this would be the perfect time and opportunity to hop out here and share a little bit of this practice with you. Um, I call it sloth yoga for a few reasons. I love sloths, being one of them. I'm going to be leading a retreat in Costa Rica in March of 2020. Super excited about it. And this is one of the practices we'll do on the retreat. But also, when I think about sloth yoga, I think about how slow they move. And so I invite you to approach this practice in a very slow and mindful way. So if you are even transitioning to and from a posture, do so like a sloth tonight. We'll do some gentle yoga, and then we will do a little bit of restorative, but it's just a little practice. I'm super tired today and didn't sleep well last night, and feel like this is a perfect way to unwind and to tell my body that it's okay to rest now. Also, I've been feeling like I'm constricting recently. I think that's because I'm in this huge place of expansion and it's scary. And so I was talking earlier today on another video about expanding through this practice. And so I just invite you tonight, or whenever you're doing this video, whenever you need some slow, gentle, restorative downtime, to really allow your body to expand, to release, to relax, and to receive. So I thought we'd start seated, and I have a bunch of props here. I've got 2 blankets, I've got some pillows, I've got my bolster. I realize you might not have all of this stuff at home, but you can find things that would work. So for a bolster, you can take a bunch of blankets and roll them up, and you can make a bolster. A lot of times I prefer to use a meditation cushion or a pillow instead of a block. And you can use any blanket. And you don't need a yoga mat. I've got one under my blanket, but you can just set out a blanket. We're not going to need a sticky mat tonight. So that we would just start in hero's pose. So that's why the block is here. If this is not a comfortable way for you to sit, you can sit in any comfortable seat. If you are doing a cross-legged variation of a seat, you'll just want to make sure that you have your knees lower than your hips, and you still want to remove the flesh away from the sit bones so that the pubic bone tilts back. And then you're going to root into your pelvis to rise tall through the crown of the head. And let's start by closing our eyes and settling into the breath. So you're going to start to invite some balance between your inhales and your exhales. And as you do that, you'll soften your belly. You'll breathe deep down into your belly, all the way down. You can even, I really like putting my hands on my belly and feeling the expansion and contraction of my belly into my hands. Sometimes the breath isn't enough. You really need to calm yourself down. This is a beautiful way to do it. As you do this, bring your awareness to your elbows. Take them a little wider. Create some space between your shoulder blades. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Feeling this breath expand into the side bodies. All the way around to where the ribs and the spine connect. And all the way up under your collarbones. Reaching tall through the crown of the head, root to rise. Nice, long, soft belly. Do a nice, gentle self-hug. Wrap around. Hold on to the shoulders, pull them forward and down slightly. Tuck your chin. Puff up through the back ribs. Start to find some movement from side to side. Creating space between the shoulder blades. Starting to work out any kinks you feel in that back body. Go ahead and switch your hug. Opposite hand on top. Curl in, finding whatever movement feels good in your back body. Go ahead and release that. Bring your hands down to your knees and then take your right hand across your left thigh. Hook your hand behind your left hand behind your head. Elbow comes forward. Lengthen up tall and then reach over. Allow that right ear to drape down towards your shoulder. Extend your heart up towards the sky. Keep the throat open. Nice even inhales and exhales. Up and down the length of that left side body. Inhaling back to center, and then we're going to switch it out. Left hand across the right thigh. Right hand behind the head. Elbow comes forward. Feel that space behind the shoulder blade. Root down once again through your pelvis. Grow taller through the heart. And then reach up and over to the left. Allow that left ear to go straight down towards your shoulder. Breathing down the right side body. Inhaling back to center. Go ahead and remove the block or the cushion, whatever you're sitting on. Push it off to your side. I'm going to move my bolster for a moment. And come into a tabletop position. In tabletop, you're going to want your hands right under your shoulders, hands wide. Fingers are spaced evenly. Knees right under the hips or a little behind. I'm going to put my feet flat on the earth and pull the toes towards me. Extend my sit bones and tailbone back. Extend my heart forward, lift my chin. And just find some movement here. If this feels too much in your lower back, you can tuck your chin, puff up more through those lower ribs. Keep that fullness as you extend the chin again. Pull the heart forward. You can stay just like this, or you can find more traditional cat-cows, tucking your tail, rounding your spine, unfurling, extending sit bones, tailbone back, heart forward. I've been really enjoying this wave action of the spine, oscillating the spine like a wave. You can also circle your hips, your ribs. Very internalized practice. And keep your eyes closed as much as you would like. Keep the jaw soft and the shoulders moving away from the ears. Make your way back to a neutral position. Bring your left knee to center. Extend your right leg back. Spiral the right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. It's going to pull that right hip down. And then like you're pulling the whole leg bone back in towards the hip socket. Pull in. And now take the right knee behind and across the left. Swing the feet out, and you're going to start to walk back. All the way down. If you can't make it all the way down, this is where you can grab a pillow or a block or a bolster and put it right under your seat. Just scoot more into the center of the frame here. So you're trying to stack your knees, do it forward. Feet about equidistance. And then go ahead and reach around behind you. Fluff the glutes out behind you. So you're keeping a little bit of that pubic tilt. And I like to dome my fingers on the earth, extend my heart forward. You can also use your fingers on the earth to push back slightly, to root back through your sit bones. And for some of you, this might feel too intense. It might be too much. So if it is too much for you, you can always do pigeon, half pigeon, which would be extending one leg back, bringing the knee forward. Keep that foot in close, dig the top of the foot down into the earth. Scissor your heels towards one another. That's that same action of setting that thigh bone back into the hip socket. This could be too much for you. If this is too much, you can always do a reclined figure four. So you're going to come down onto your back. Hook your ankle over your thigh. And then you can either stay right where you're at or grab on behind the thigh or on top of the shin and interlace your fingers. If you do choose to find a bind, you'll want to keep extending your sit bones and your tailbone back down towards the earth. Lots of options here. Breathe into your hips wherever you feel them. Soften all areas of your body that are not serving this posture. So if you've stayed in our cow face pose, I'm going to take it a little bit deeper now. Keep rooting back through the sit bones and tailbone, and you can start to surrender forehead toward your knee. If you do choose that variation, you'll want to take the breath into the back body. Nice, even inhales and exhales. And you'll slowly walk yourself back up. From wherever you are, we'll meet back in tabletop. Take a moment here to find whatever movement your body needs. Organic movement in tabletop. One of my favorites is to sit back into a bit of a child's pose, to come forward into a baby cobra, and then making my way back again. It's really nice on the spine. You can even oscillate the spine here, find that wave action between the two. Since we're working the hips, it might also feel really good to find those pelvis circles into the side body. Just make sure if you're doing circles, you switch and go the other direction. Let's do the second side. So if you're going to go into cow face with me, I'll bring your knee towards the center, extend the left leg back, spiral the left inner thigh up towards the ceiling, and then plug the whole leg bone back in towards the hip socket. Soften, extend the belly, and then swing the left knee behind the right, swing the feet out. Extend your sit bones back as you walk back. Reach underneath you, move the flesh back, sit up nice and tall, and then if you'd like, you can dome your fingers up. Keep extending through the heart, keep the throat open. If you moved into one of the other postures, this doesn't work for you, especially in hip openers, you realize two sides of your body are completely different. Something might feel amazing or easy on one side, and then it could feel just horrible, painful, or stiff and too tight on the other. And if that's the case, then feel free to do either half pigeon on this side, make sure you do your opposite leg, or figure four. Wherever you are, keep that throat open. Soften your jaw and soften your shoulders. Keep the belly soft and continue to find some nice, even, balanced inhales and exhales up and down the spine. Notice as your body gets quiet, sometimes that's where the mind picks up its conversation. Just want to stay really aware of that. Become the watcher of your thoughts. So catch yourself if you're trying to get caught up in the conversation, if you go down the rabbit hole. And if you catch yourself, bring yourself right back to this moment, back to the breath. And just be aware that That is human nature, and our work is to not beat ourselves up for thinking, but celebrate that we busted ourselves and to return back to inhaling and exhaling once again. Just watching, just observing, just being. If you're in whatever posture you're in right now, go ahead and slowly make your way out, coming back into a tabletop position. One more time, you're going to find some gentle movement in the center. Whatever feels good in your body, that's where you go. Turn around so I can face the camera when I get into this. The next posture, we're going to do a twist. So you're going to bring your left hand underneath your nose, and on an inhale, you're going to reach your right fingertips up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, thread the needle, bringing the right hand under the left side of the body. I like to scoot back a little bit so that my armpit ends up closer to my knee, and then I rotate down. Now your hips might have swung off to the left. If they did, swing them off onto the right. You can dome those fingers overhead and push into the earth to rotate the right rib cage now towards the left side of your back. Keep your belly soft and take the breath into the back body. Jaw stays soft. Try and keep your shoulders as soft as you possibly can. Nice even breath. Allow your eyes to flutter closed. Soft gaze. Soft jaw. To come out of this posture, you'll push down through the left hand. And on an inhale, right fingertips sweep up towards the sky. And we'll switch it out and do the other side. So now the right hand's coming under the nose, and as you inhale, left fingertips towards the sky. As you exhale, thread the needle. And if you want, you can bring your armpit closer to your knee. Ooh, I just got a nice adjustment. Dome those top fingers. Elbow points up towards the ceiling. Push into the fingers to rotate that left rib cage towards the right side of your mat. Notice if your hips swung all the way off to the right, swing them back towards the left. Keep the belly soft. Trying to breathe into all areas of your lungs that might feel challenging right now. Just do the best that you can. Enjoy the rotation of the spine. Either gaze forward, up towards the ceiling. Allow the eyes to flutter. From here, you're going to root down through your right hand. Unravel on an inhale, extending left fingertips towards the sky. Coming back into our tabletop position again and just finding a little bit more movement. Whatever feels good. Whatever your body needs to settle its nervous system to get you ready. Good night's sleep. The nice thing about this practice is eat before it, and you can wear your pajamas to do it. So when you're done, you just go crawl right into bed. It's one of my favorite things to do with restorative yoga. All right, from here, I'm going to introduce you to a side bend twist situation, so restorative posture. I'm going to use a bolster. I love the big fat round ones. I think it's a great investment. But you may have a bolster like pillow at your house, or you may have some blankets that you can roll up and make a makeshift bolster. What you want to do is you're going to take whatever you're using across your space. You're going to come to swing your feet behind it and rest one hip against it. Root down through the hip closest to the bolster, and then use the hand closest to the bolster to push either into the bolster or the floor to create as much length and space as you can on that side body. On an inhale, root to rise, sit up as tall as you can. And as you exhale, you're going to take your fingers on the opposite side and slide on down. Now, it might feel uncomfortable where it landed. You might want to hike it up by your armpit, but instead, breathe into the resistance that the bolster creates. And then breathe just as much into your upper side body. You can keep your upper hand down by your side. You want to go a little bit deeper. You take it up over, so it's like you're stretching, diving in over the bolster. Keep the belly soft and completely surrender the lower body. Check in with your jaw. Hinge. Even though the shoulders are naturally going to crunch up by your ears here, you want to make sure that's just gravity. It's not the tension creeping there. And breathe. Allow your eyes shut once again. So any of these restorative postures that we do, you're welcome to stay longer if you'd like, or come back and revisit after this video is done. It's always nice to take about 5 to 10 minutes in each one. Even longer than that in the final Shavasana. From here, keeping your lower body just as it is, you'll start to rotate your heart up towards the ceiling. This upper hand may just fall in a comfortable position. Sometimes I like to stretch it behind me for a moment, and then I usually just rest it down by my side. This might be a lot on your neck. If it is, where did my blanket go? You can always make a pillow between your arm and your head to rest on. Or I feel like my bolster is a little high tonight, so I can put it underneath my head so it doesn't feel like I'm extending my neck so much. Keep the belly soft. You can even rest your hand back on it if you want. Enjoying the sensation of the belly into the hands, and the hand into the belly. Don't do a twist if you're pregnant. She mentioned that. You just want to be aware of the difference between stretching pain, like hurts so good, versus, ooh, that is not a good sensation. Just be really careful. Don't go too far. This is a gentle practice. My biggest injury was in a yin class one time. Let my ego get in the way and I overstretched my bicep head. So learn from me. On your inhale, you'll come back onto your side bends. And just feel, you might feel like you've already created some openness and space that you didn't have before. Or maybe not, maybe it's just as uncomfortable. No judgment of whatever you find, just being with the sensations. From here, you'll either place your upper hand on the earth or on top of the bolster, keeping your ear, your lower ear, in contact with your shoulder. Lead from the upper rib cage. Go ahead and slide all the way up. And then we'll do the other side. So it's really up to you. You can do some fancy spin so that your other hip ends up against the bolster. Or you can be like me and just move the bolster. It's so funny, I keep finding sequins all over my house. You know, when you open a package of sequins and then all of a sudden it's like, you can never get rid of that. So I find myself right now. Hopefully it's pretty. All right, so I'm gonna root down through the opposite hip. Really root down through the sit bone closest to the bolster, and then again, you can use your hand on top of the bolster to push down. Create as much length and space as you can in the arm side body. And then take your dome fingers across and gently start to slide on down. Again, instead of hiking that bolster up by your armpits, find some breath. Breathe into it. Sometimes this side feels easier. Take your hand up overhead again. Because you've already stretched the other side. Sometimes it sucks. You've got something going on in your side body and this side's even worse. This is my worst side. So I'm just gonna surrender as much as I can. Soften wherever I can and allow opening space. This is a very internalized practice. So you can close your eyes as much as you would like. Allow this, it doesn't feel like you're doing much, but you are. This passive stretch allows the body time and space to really open. It needs that time and space to open. This is how we're going to expand, not by ripping ourselves open, but by softening and surrendering in that expansion. It's like everything else in life. The more we try and push and force, that's, when you think about those words and the energy behind them, they're all constriction. It's the opposite of what we're trying to do. So from here, keeping your lower body exactly as it is, you'll begin to rotate your heart up towards the ceiling. And you might have figured out if your bolster is not far enough behind you, you're probably rolling off of it right now. So just make sure that you've got a little bit more bolster behind you than in front of you. Again, the upper hand, some people have the shoulder flexibility and it feels good wherever it lands, but if that's not you, play around with it, find what's comfortable. Enjoy the twist. Again, twist not recommended if you're expecting. Soften as much as you can. Whatever's not serving the posture should be relaxed. Allowing that tightness and tension to start to drain down into the earth. And inhaling, come back to center. Take a few more breaths here on the spinal side. Notice if you feel some more opening. And as you're ready, you'll take that hand, upper hand, to either the floor or the bolster. Lower ear stays in contact with the shoulder. Lead through the rib cage and push your way up. Ooh, I'm feeling sleepy. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to sleep so good after this. Ooh. All right. I'm going to use the strap for this next part. So if you don't have a strap, anything like this, any kind of fabric or non-fabric, even belt, will work. So we're going to make our way down onto our backs. The other thing I like about sloth yoga is you get to wear socks. I'm in my basement. I'm in my healing space right now where I see clients and do amazing energy work on them. But it's a little chilly. I have my heater on. But I'm really grateful for my wool socks. So you're going to bring your heels in so they're close to your sit bones. And then I want you to take your strap or your belt, whatever creative thing you come up with. Go ahead and wrap it around more towards the ball of your right foot. You can put it right in the center. I don't know, I like to put it just a little in front of my arch. I'm going to keep my right knee soft. You don't want to hyperextend your knee. And I want you to practice tonight. It's called a hollow ankle. Oh, we might have a visitor. My cat's coming down the stairs. It's a flex, but then you've got a soft, yeah, there she is, that soft toes. What you're going to do is kick your heel up towards the earth, or towards the ceiling, as you pull on both ends of the strap. And what you're doing is you're plugging, once again, that thigh bone back down into the hip socket. So you can keep your left knee up, or if you want, you can extend the left leg down. So my cat is very old, and I never see her unless there's a client here or I'm doing yoga. She's a very smart cat. She likes the energy. I'm sure your pets do too. If you've got pets at home, they're probably doing yoga with you. Anytime you get on the floor, they think you're there just for them. So to feel this more, it's more of a kick of the heel. Pull more down on the strap. Plug that thigh bone in. From here, we're going to take both ends of the strap into our left hand. You're going to take the right foot across the left side of your body. You're not going to have to go very far. You'll probably start to feel some pull and tugging in that upper thigh. It might already feel intense, but now what I want you to think about is, once again, I can feel my right sit bone is lifted. So I'm going to try and pull on the strap to plug my right sit bone back down towards the earth. Woo, I'm feeling some shaking here. So soften everything else. Soften your belly. Allow your shoulder blades to nestle down into the earth. Soften the jaw. Be pretty intense depending on what you've got going on in your hip and your glutes. And you can feel your hamstrings, wherever you're tight. From here, you'll inhale back up to center, and now switch so that the strap is in your right hand. And now take your right foot out to the side. You can extend it pretty far. But now I'm noticing that my left hip is popping up, and the sit bone's popping up, so I'm going to try and root that back down. Extend out through the heel, but keep a soft hollow behind the right knee. Soften the belly. Oops. Having a set malfunction. And a cat in front of my face. This is imperfectly perfect yoga. Inhale back up to center. And then you'll go ahead and release Your right foot. Let's take a moment. Find yourself back in a neutral position, heels in close to the sit bones. And now we'll repeat on the other side. So hooking the strap around the left foot, sending the left foot up towards the ceiling. I like to hold on with both hands. Kick the heel of the left foot up towards the ceiling. Allow the toes to soften, and then pull down to plug the whole leg bone, thigh bone back down into the hip socket. Do it this way, kitty. So you can keep your right knee pointing up towards the ceiling again, or if you would like, send the right leg on. Feeling your pelvis, your shoulder blades, the back of your head, softening down into the earth. Do a little bonus activity here, making sure you're right there, right on the back part of your head, and gently push your head down into the earth. If you spend a long time at a computer during the day or driving a lot, you might have some neck tension. This is one of the solutions for that. So putting your cervical spine, your neck back into the right alignment. Let's go ahead and take the straps into our right hands and take your left foot across the right side of your body. You don't have to go very far at all. You'll feel the stretch. And then to feel it even more now, I want you to think about rooting that left sit bone back down towards the earth. Woo. Pull on the strap, but actually, just like we did on those other postures, plugging the leg bone back down towards the earth, the hip. Keep the throat open, the jaw soft, belly soft. I know I'm being very repetitive here, but I should have called this old cat yoga instead of sloth. I'm just thinking. For me personally, one of the things that I just realized recently is that my belly holds so much tension. If I am not consciously releasing and relaxing it, and the more I've done it, the easier it gets. It's now the opposite. I'm aware when I've created tension. You're going to have to really play around with that. Notice if you've got the same tendency. Let's take the foot up now and we'll take it over. Who wants to be the star of the show? I think Samantha. Yeah. So as I take my foot over, I mean, depending on your flexibility of your inner thighs and your groins, you may be able to go further, but don't do it at the expense of allowing that right hip to pop way off the earth. You want to try and settle it back down. Try and keep your pelvis as square as you possibly can. I always think I can do these really short practices, but the fact is I just really love yoga. The stretch, especially this delicious, slow, mindful practice that I will be mindful we don't go too much longer, but it's just so nice. And it is the balance to the being or to the doing. It's the being to the doing. Got to be careful. Sometimes the practice that you choose actually exacerbates the energy that you've been exerting all day long. And this is really the opposite. This is the coming down, settling. On your next inhale, you'll bring that foot back up. Go ahead, release the strap. Bring both knees in this time. Hug in and rock them side to side. If you want, you can take little circles with your knees, either in one direction, or I have really been digging both directions. I was so resistant to try this, and then I finally did one day. I mean, resistant for like years, and I did it, and I was like, oh my God, that's so fun. Why was I so resistant to that? Feels good. From here, let's slide our hands in through our knees. Open up the knees, grab onto the outer edges of your feet. This is phase one. This might just be enough. You can rock from side to side. If you want to extend up, you can. Happy baby pose. So here's a tough one. Your sit bones and your tailbone will be extending up off the earth, but think about trying to point them down towards the mat. Allow the shoulder blades to soften down. And as you pull your knees down towards your shoulders, you're gonna kick your heels up towards the ceiling. I've been really playing around with recently, rocking from side to side, but as I do, extending one foot a little bit longer and bending the other one deeper. That's just been feeling really yummy recently. Go ahead and release that. Hug the knees back in for a moment, rock from side to side. 4 more circles. Now we're going to take the feet wide on our mat, knock the knees in. You can either take your arms out like a T or a cactus or kind of a digging, elbows in, dome fingers, kind of a pull-up bar action up overhead, lengthening the belly. Ooh, I just sneezed, bless me. Extending the pubic bone down, really feel a nice stretch. Soften the belly again, and then you'll windshield wiper from side to side. I kind of feel like this whole video is the Sloth yoga bloopers, but I'm kind of digging it because it's real life. It's real life yoga. If you're doing it in your living space at your house, you've probably got some pet's butt in your face. You've probably shit falling off your walls. It's imperfectly perfect, just like life. Which is one way we can help ourselves expand is by remembering that. When we constrict, it's usually out of fear. And sometimes it's that fear of being seen as something other than this idea of perfection that just doesn't exist in the world. Go ahead and rest on one side now. Stay on one side. If you'd like, you can hook your lower ankle on top of the upper knee. Lengthen the belly even more. Send the heart towards your head. Rooting your sit bones and tailbone back down towards the earth. Maybe sometime I'll do a yoga video with my kids running around, see how that goes. How to keep your zen in mom mode. But honestly, that's the whole purpose of the practice, is to deal with discomfort and get embodied, to learn to breathe and to be present so that no matter what is happening in your world, you have your center, you've got your own back. Go ahead and release. Take the knees the other direction. You want, you can hook that upper ankle. If you're deciding to turn your head, just make sure that your head, your neck feel in alignment with the rest of your spine. If they don't, scoot the head over before you rotate. If you can't rotate your head, that might be an indicator. Oh, I just learned recently, well, I guess it was a few years ago, that yawning and sighing are huge forms of release. It's a way that if you're in any sort of grief, you may be releasing as well. So just know that. Just notice how it drops your energy. Not to a lower vibration, but just to a place of calm and peace. Keep the jaw soft here, belly soft. Go ahead and release, come back to center. Might want to hug in again. I'm going to show you two more postures, and I will leave you in the last one. I'll do a little guided thing and then leave you there. First, I'd love to do a little bit more heart opening with you. So to come up from here, you're going to roll onto whatever side you would like. You can use your lower arm as a pillow. You have a cat laying around. You can use her too. You're going to keep your ear heavy. The lower ear is going to be heavy. You're going to use your upper rib cage. It's going to guide you. And you're going to push your way up. Nice and slow. No sitting up super fast when you're doing sloth yoga. So whatever kind of blanket that you have, someone was trying to use a roller or a yoga mat recently, and that doesn't seem to work. You want it to have something good. I'm going to give you the general shape, and then you'll just have to play around with whatever props you have at home. So if you've got one of these Indian blankets, which is always just really great to have on hand for like so many different reasons, like picnics, and like concerts, sort of yoga, I don't know, and they're not very expensive. So if you decide that a home restorative practice is your jam, invest in some props. You will never regret it. You will use them all the time. My kids think they're their toys when I'm not using them for practice. You're going to take it and you're going to roll it. So you want it to be about this width. It's going to look like this. You're going to take it across your space again. Strap out of the way. The trickiest part of this pose is getting into it in the right position. So what you're going to try and do is hook the lower part of the blanket. Ladies, right where your bra line is. Guys, it's right at the tips of your shoulder blades. So you might get down, and the other thing is that with the restorative practice, it's the princess and the pea mentality. So if anything feels off, that thing becomes more annoying as the posture goes on. So you'll just want to make sure that you feel 100% like you can relax into these postures. So you'll come on down and find right where that is. I usually always get some killer adjustment right in those upper ribs that are so hard to get, but it should feel really good. It shouldn't be too high. I like to take my arms into this posture of an open cactus. And then it's really going to depend on your body. It might be enough to be just like this. You can always toe heel the feet apart, knock the knees together. Active rest pose. You should not be holding your legs up in any way, shape, or form here. So if you are, take the feet wider and really draw the knees together. If you would like, if it feels comfortable, you can extend the legs out long. You're just going to surrender here for a few moments. Super easy place to breathe deeply into your belly. The way that your shoulders are set up, the tension can just drain right off. Jaw stays soft, unhinged. Lips soft, maybe parted. All the parts of your body that are in contact with the earth, the weight of them over to the support. This is one of my favorites, especially if you're feeling that tightness or tension in your back, in your shoulders, in your neck. We spend so much of our day curled around our center, crunching in on our center. This is the solution to that. So Allow the belly to be soft. Allow the throat to be open. Allow the shoulders to be soft. Surrender completely. Start to invite the breath deeper, bringing your awareness more back into your body in the room. Bringing your awareness to your fingers and toes, you can start to invite in some movement. Maybe taking the arms up overhead, reaching down through the toes, nice deep stretch. Drawing your feet up underneath you, so knees are pointing up towards the ceiling, and on an exhale of your choosing, you'll roll onto whatever side it is calling to you. Soften your belly. Taking a few breaths here. To push up, that lower ear stays heavy. Lead through your upper rib cage. Slide on up. Final pose. There's several ways you can do this one, but it is a really good pose to do right before bedtime. Tonight, I'm going to show you Stonehenge first, which we're literally just going to make a little Stonehenge. So you're going to take 2 blocks or 2 items that are the same height. For this particular one, you'll want your pillow or bolster to be pretty firm. So you're going to take the blocks, put them on your space, have them about this far apart. And then you're just going to take your bolster and put it right on top. I like to pillow my head a little bit, so if you've got another blanket, I like to have about 5 blankets around. I get cold when I practice restorative yoga. I've got an eye pillow. I mean, I'm all about pimping your Shavasana. So for this particular one, and if you've got, I will warn you, if you have the more skinny, flat bolster, sometimes one is not enough. So if you only have one, maybe fold a blanket or something else and put it on top. You're going to put your legs up over the top and come to relax back. So if you've got all the props, this is a great place to be. If you don't, I have a couch and an ottoman that works so good for this posture. The final thing is, if you wanted to, you could do legs up the wall. I don't have a particularly good wall to show you this. I will try my best. I've already ripped down some fabric, so if I rip down more, that's okay. I'll fix it again. 4 legs up the wall, pretend the pillows are the wall. You'll want to make sure that you are scooted up as much as you can against whatever, what the wall. That's what you want to do. You're going to slide down, and then you're going to flip your feet up. So your feet should, or your legs should end up right against the wall. And then if you are a little bit too far away, then you can do the fun wiggle to try and get closer. That is one of my favorite postures. I do it a lot. So either Stonehenge or legs of a couch or an ottoman, or legs up the wall or Stonehenge. Or if none of those work for you and you just want to lay out or put the bolster under your knees and do Shavasana that way, it's absolutely perfect. So go ahead and make your way into your final pose. And you'll go ahead and you'll settle back and down, allowing all the areas of your body that are in contact with either a prop or the earth to surrender. And you'll return back to that really easy, even breath. Inhales and exhales. Settling deeper and deeper into your relaxation. Allowing those inhales to create more expansion. Exhales, you don't collapse on that expansion. You just breathe into that newly created space. Allowing that breath to take on a very cyclical-like pattern. Think of it like an ocean wave. It's as if the inhales rise up the entire front line of your body, crusting and crashing at the top. The exhales are going to rinse all the way down the back side, crusting and crashing. And on the inhale, rising up again. So you don't really know where one breath ends and the next begins. This breath takes the entire capacity of your lungs. So all the way down into that deep belly breath. The expansion out into the side body. All the way around to where the ribs and the spine connect. All the way up under the collarbones. And then allowing that breath to become even more expansive so that it flows all the way from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head and back again. Continuing to surrender down. Staying here for as long as you would like. Make sure that when you decide to move from this space that you do so slow and mindfully, just like a sloth, taking some space and time on your side body, but really just enjoying the space that you've created for yourself. Deep rest. Thank you so much for joining me with this practice tonight, for expanding, for relaxing, for taking some time to find the balance between the doing and being with me. Namaste.